Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this edition of the A.F. Harrold Limited Edition Kids Poetry Podcast, the Affleck Po Pod. Today's poem is brought to you by A Pebble. Have you ever looked at a stone and thought, well, that's a bit heavy and it's got sharp corners? Well, try a pebble, like stones but smaller and smoother. A pebble, smooth. And now, today's poem. Water. When he was younger, my uncle worked in one of the big hotels up in town. He was the junior water porter. He would pour water for the guests at their tables. He'd say, "Water?" And they'd nod and say, "Yes, pour water, junior water porter, please," and pour water the junior water porter would. Oh, he filled glasses with bubbling and still, ice cubes clinking or iceless and pure. Ah, he'd pour pure water, and when times were lean, he'd pour poor water. Sometimes in the poor water he'd find he'd caught a shrimp or a fish, and he'd give a knowing wink and say to the guest, "That just goes to show how pure the poor water is. Shall I pour more?" And pour more the junior water porter would. Oh, his water was always so cool and clear, refreshing like the other side of a pillow. Even when the war came, he carried on. He was a wartime junior water porter, pouring water in the shelters. People packed in wall to wall, wanting water poured. It was flawless pouring, faultless pouring, never showy or fancy, for keeping it simple is the mark of a professional water porter. As time went by, this junior water porter became a senior water porter, the old water porter who taught a young water porter the way. And of course, later, when the hotel changed hands, the new owner changed his job title to head water waiter, and he simply became even greater. Thank you very much for listening to this episode of the Affleck Po Pod, the A.F. Harrold Limited Edition Poetry Podcast. If you enjoyed it, that's brilliant. Tell people about it. Go along to www.afharroldkids.com and learn about my other books. Watch videos of me reading poems, listen to more poems there, all that sort of stuff. If you didn't enjoy it, why not climb up a really high tree and shout, "I hated it," into the air, and maybe an eagle will pick you up and fly you off to their eyrie, and you'll live and grow up in the mountains, growing feathers and eating raw meat in an eagle's nest, and see how you like that.